And anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, this is what we're doing it for.
It's been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week for Pete Hegseth. The Secretary of Defense has found himself in a slew of negative stories, and on Tuesday morning he sat down with Fox and Friends to give his side of the story. I'm Mediaite founding editor Colby Hall, and I'm going to watch this and give you feedback and explain what went right and what really went not so right. First of all, on Friday, Hegseth reports came out that he purged a lot of his top leadership at the Pentagon following a leak investigation that is apparently still ongoing. And then one of his former spokespersons wrote an op-ed for Politico basically alleging that it has been total chaos at the Pentagon since Hegseth took over. And then the coup de grace, of course, was on Sunday. The New York Times reported that there was a second top secret and classified information that was shared on the Signal communications app, this time with his wife and with his lawyer, Tim Politor, and his brother, none of whom are believed to have the security clearance to find out about impending attack plans on the Houthi rebels that are backed by Iran. The very same information that he insists was not classified, but when was shared with Jeffrey Goldberg, clearly looked to be top secret. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah. We know the stuff there, according to experts, looked like it was top secret or classified, stuff that should not be splayed out there.
That's Steve Doocy. Yes, he's saying that that's top secret. Now, not everyone in Fox and Friends was so tough on Pete Hegseth.
It was a secure line that they're talking. Should you be saying that to friends and family? That's another thing. It also could be part of a learning curve.
Learning curve. Yeah, learning curve. You want your Secretary of Defense to be learning on the way, and that's the way that we justify apparently huge breaches in security, but that's a conversation for another time. So Hegseth hasn't really done an interview with anyone since this controversy started. And so, of course, it makes sense that his first on-camera live interview would be on Fox and Friends, the show that he occasionally co-hosted, and on the weekends hosted the Fox and Friends weekend. And Brian Kilmeade, not only former colleague of Hegseth, but a friend. Let's watch this together and see what happens.
Everybody's happy with her. We have the highest recruitment numbers I think they've had in 28 years. No, he's doing a great job. It's just fake news.
He's doing a great job. Just fake news. He went on to say that this is digging up an old story. Signal that had gone away. I guess he doesn't read the papers and wasn't read in on the fact that there was a second Signal leak.
So your thoughts on what's been reporting of Team Huddle and the Signal chat that the New York Times says took place between you, your wife, and your brother and some others?
So, Brian, if you remember when this all started, the first go-around, because this is the second go-around, right? They peddle old stuff, they kick it back up. I said repeatedly, no one's texting war plans. You know why I said that? Because I'm in the bowels of the Pentagon every single day. Just 10 minutes ago, I was looking at actual war plans of things that were ongoing or pending things to happen, because that's on a regular basis on classified systems. That's my job for the war fighters, for the President of the United States. I look at war plans every single day. What was shared over Signal, then and now, however you characterize it, was informal, unclassified coordinations for media coordination and other things. That's what I've said from the beginning.
Okay, there's no way that that's accurate. Hegseth has repeatedly insisted that he didn't share war plans. Well, Jeffrey Goldberg, who was part of the initial Signal chat that was accidentally added, he shared the data that he'd been, and it's clear as day. Weather is favorable, just confirmed with CENTCOM. We are a go for mission launch, 12:15 Eastern Time, F-18's launch, first strike package, 13:45, trigger-based F-18 first strike window starts, target terrorist is at his known location, so should be on time. Also strike zones launch, MQ-9s. I mean, if those aren't war plans, call them attack plans, war plans, this is us plotting, and he's releasing classified information about attacking a foreign country before it happened on a Signal app. Yeah, it's encrypted, but it's not secure and could easily be hacked by a foreign entity. And of course, if that information gets out, well, then it puts he's putting military at risk by doing that. If that's not classified information, Nothing is classified information.
At the beginning, it was left-wing reporters from The Atlantic who got a hold of it and then wanted to create a problem for the president. This is what it's all about, trying to get at President Trump and his agenda.
Left-wing reporters who somehow got hold of it. That's Jeffrey Goldberg, who's a very well, yes, he's left-leaning, but he's a very well-sourced and very high-regarded journalist. He got hold of it? How did he get hold of it again? Well, that's right. His name was added to a signal chat by Mike Waltz, the national security advisor. He didn't get hold of it. It was given to him. And candidly, Goldberg did the patriotic thing by not releasing it ahead of time. He even thought it was just someone was pranking him. And this information was later corroborated or confirmed by the Department of Defense. He didn't just get hold of it. It was given to him. Let's go on.
We take the classification of information very important. It's very significant to us that we safeguard it. And so when we had leaks, which we have had here, we did a serious leak investigation. And through that leak investigation, unfortunately, we found some folks that we believe were not holding to the protocols that we hold dear here at the Defense Department. Through that investigation, they have been moved on, and that investigation continues.
It's not me, it's them. We found leakers. We fired them. More on that later.
As a result of that, everything we do here is above board, trying to make sure that we safeguard information. In this point, those folks who were leaking, who have been pushed out of the building, are now attempting to leak and sabotage the president's agenda and what we're doing. And that's unfortunate.
So the individuals who were fired, the leakers, who are they? Were they holdovers from the Biden administration? Were they career Pentagon officials? No, each of them were close allies of Pete Hegseth who were brought into the Pentagon by Pete Hegseth. So if anyone is leaking this information and is anyone responsible for hiring leakers, it would be Hegseth. By the way, it's worth adding that to a person, each of them have denied this and even claimed that they were being set up and blamed for leaking. And when in fact, there, as I said, total chaos under Hegseth's leadership at the Department of Defense.
You believe this came out, they said it was called Team Huddle, because one of the people who work for you, one of the three who no longer are there, leaked this out as a way to get back at you?
That's right, Brian. When you dismiss people who you believe are leaking classified information, and again, the investigation is ongoing and that will take time, and when the evidence produced, it will go to DOJ, why would it surprise anybody, Brian, if those very same people keep leaking to the very same reporters whatever information they think they can have to try to sabotage the agenda of the president or the secretary? So once a leaker, always a leaker.
So now there it is. That's the rationale. He is the victim here. It's not the Secretary of Defense who hired and then fired these alleged leakers, but they're out to get him. And why is this important? Because Hegseth's entire defense here is that he's the victim of these individuals working with news media outlets who are clearly out to get Hegseth. And who is he saying this for? Well, of course, to Brian Kilmeade and to Fox News viewers, but there's one viewer in particular who this is guided for, and that is President Donald Trump. Why? Because no one is more convinced of their own victimhood and the fact that they are attacked by the fake news media more than Donald Trump. So there's one goal here in this messaging, and that is to align himself with his boss, President Trump, and talk about how it's not just him, we're all under attack, right? By the way, zero accountability, zero ownership, zero admission that there may have been some wrongdoing. It's attack, attack, attack. And again, from this playbook, that the best defense, good offense. So if they keep attacking and blame everyone else, you'll ride scot-free. And guess what? So far, it works. It's always worked with Trump. Seems like it'll probably work here until the next bombshell drops.
Right. So the Signal app is what everyone uses. We're all finding that out now because of the Chinese have infected and sabotaged, gotten involved in almost every other communications apparatus over the last 4 years. So that's where you're communicating. You say it took place, but there was no classified material in it.
Real quick here. A lot of people in D.C. use the Signal app to communicate because it is encrypted, right? It is less susceptible from infiltration. That said, It's used by politicians and journalists to communicate with one another. It's never supposed to be used to share classified top secret information. And not everyone uses it all the time for top secret classified information. In fact, you'd be liable for an investigation. And I believe under a law that Trump signed into, I believe under a regulation that Trump would sign into law during his first administration, that would be committing a felony crime, right? So it is true that everyone uses Signal, but it's never, ever supposed to be used for sharing classified and top secret information. And again, he insists that it's not top secret information. But you look at the data, the messages that were released by Jeffrey Goldberg, it's impossible to conclude that it's not top secret. Because, of course, it is attack data, precise attack data on foreign entities before they were launched. If that's not classified or top secret, then nothing is.
Over the last few days, your senior advisor, Dan Caldwell, Darren Selnick, Colin Carroll, who is your chief of staff, Deputy Secretary of Defense. The other one, Darren, is now former Deputy Chief of Staff, were let go. Did you let them go?
Right. It was a result of an investigation ongoing at the Pentagon where we identified there was sufficient evidence, potentially, again, there's an investigation ongoing that will have to complete itself, sufficient evidence to believe that they or others near them were party to leaking. And then I have a statutory responsibility, Brian, if I believe that's the case, to ultimately ensure they no longer have access to that and that the investigation commences.
So this investigation has taken down 3 people who are alleged to be leakers, according to Hegseth. And if there's evidence of other leakers, they'll be found accountable. Again, the most clear evidence is the text messages that Hegseth shared on a Signal app with members of cabinet and Jeffrey Goldberg that is classified top secret information. So the leaker is coming from within the House. The leaker himself appears to be Pete Hegseth, at least in this instance. There's one way that Jeffrey Goldberg found out this information about highly classified details about the attack, and that was because he received it on a Signal chat that he was included on. So who's the leaker now?
So, as you know, one of the people that left, he says he was not fired, he let go. Other people said he was fired. John Hewlett, a former Pentagon spokesperson, decided to put this in Politico and say, here's a quote, "It's been a month of total chaos at the Pentagon, from leaks of sensitive operational plans to mass firings. The dysfunctional, now a major distraction for the president, deserves better from his senior leadership. President Donald Trump has a strong record on holding his top officials to account. Given that, it's hard to see Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth remaining in his role for much longer." You know him. I know he was let go. He had a great idea to get rid of Jackie Robinson, being sarcastic, from the Pentagon. Your thoughts about that statement?
I gotta say, as Fox News opinion show host questions go, that's terrific. That's a terrific question. And I will tell you that the vast majority of Fox News viewers were probably left unaware that one of Hegseth's top spokespersons wrote this incredibly damning column about Hegseth's leadership at the Pentagon. So the fact that they went full screen with that graphic and Kilmeade read straight from the article really damning stuff on Hegseth, that's really good work of Brian Kilmeade. Let's see how he answers.
Anybody that knows John knows why we let him go. We did a lot of favors for John. He did some good work up front. Then he was moved along and asked to move along. Now he's misrepresented a lot of things in the press. It's unfortunate. We did right by him. We tried to help. He's spinning it otherwise. It's too bad.
I mean, that's just shameless. He doesn't deny it. He doesn't say anything bad. He says he's a bad apple, and that's why. And if you know, you know, which 99% of the TV viewers have no idea who this is. So if he was fired, you should tell people why he was fired. If he does have an axe to grind, well, you're on national television and you can explain that precisely why he was fired. Instead, just smearing his character as saying he was fired for obvious reasons that he can't get into, that's feckless. That's shameless. And honestly, anyone that's in any position of power in D.C., let alone a cabinet position and running the Department of Defense, they owe the American people so much better than that, because that's a conservative opinion host just smearing someone, not the top man at the Pentagon. And frankly, that's shameful. But again, probably plays well with Trump.
Mr. Secretary, do you think you take this job, you come in with war experience and all your great background, do you think there's a lot of people who don't want you there, and there's some type of deep state forces that want to make sure you don't stay there?
Here we go. Deep state forces. Yep, it's a big conspiracy. And this is probably Kilmeade's worst question because it suggests a larger conspiracy without any evidence.
They've come after me from day one, just like they've come after President Trump. I mean, I've gotten a fraction of what President Trump got in that first term. What he's endured is superhuman.
So, yes, I am a victim of a deep state conspiracy. But if you're watching President Trump, not nearly as bad as you. You're the real hero here. You're the martyr, right?
A lot of people come to Washington and they just play the game. And it's you punch their ticket and get along to go along. And, you know, start doing Meet the Press and going to the Council on Foreign Relations and spending time with all the new cocktail sipping crowd.
Of all the choices there, cocktail parties, I'm not sure is the best one given Hegseth's history.
I've been on 2 bases over the last 2 months. They're overwhelmingly, anecdotally support for you. And they talked about recruiting going up. So I asked for official numbers. They are through the roof. Take a look at these numbers with the Army, Air Force, and Marines. You are up 108% in November, 119% in February, 108% after the election, 105% with the Navy. With the Marines, up 112% and 100%. They are through the roof. The U.S. Air Force, 100% of its goal. Same thing in February. And Space Force is also booming, over 100%.
Here's where we pivot to the pro-military ad.
With all this controversy, everything swirling around, have you ever doubted your decision to take this job?
Oh, not for a minute. I didn't hesitate when the president asked me, and I haven't hesitated for a moment because those numbers are a reflection of why we're here. We call it the Trump bump internally. The reality is when war fighting and lethality is brought back and it's serious, that what we're doing here is serious about getting after soldiering and war fighting, American people want to come back in. They want to sign up. These recruiting numbers don't surprise me.
That was precisely what Trump wanted to hear, and is why Hegseth's not going anywhere. Sure, more bombshells could drop. That could change things. But Hegseth did the right thing to keep his job, though there is zero accountability, and Americans should be outraged at this level of incompetence. Thank you for watching. Please click the like and subscribe button for more videos like this. I'm Mediaite funding editor Colby Hall. Thanks for watching.